Hey everybody, it's Kellen Nitro for Nitromaniac TV's a wrestling channel, and on the 1-year anniversary of the channel, here's a special Nitro stake for you. Impact Wrestling held their Under Pressure card last night as part of a special 2-hour-long episode of Impact, and I got a chance to sit down and watch it. I've actually been anticipating this card for quite some time now since it was announced and since the matches were announced. So here are my thoughts. This is Nitro's take on Impact Under Pressure, or the Impact Wrestling episode from May 31st, 2018. Not March, May 31st, 2018. However way you want to look at it. But Impact, Under Pressure. Opening match, Eli Drake versus Scott Steiner. It was a heel versus heel match. Interesting choice for the opener. I thought for a heel versus heel contest, I thought it'd be a little bit farther down the card than it was. Love the trash talk between the two of them in the ring. It was an amazing soundbite, probably about 2 or 3 minutes in, where they were talking about the tag team split and how Steiner was blaming Drake for splitting the team and Drake blaming Steiner. As much as I dislike Eli Drake as a professional wrestling entity right now, I will admit that the on-camera promo ability that he has is uncanny. It's probably top 10 in the United States for sure, and maybe top 10 in North America, I should say. The guy can flat out cut a promo and is authoritative when he can do it, and has that power behind him. I think, in my opinion, it's nothing that a stint in NXT couldn't fix. And so that's why I'm hoping that the Eli Drake to NXT rumors are true, which would be awesome. Very old school WCW. It felt like watching an episode of Nitro from 2000 between two of them. Looking at who Eli was wrestling, that's probably a good thing, right? So Scott Steiner, we mentioned it earlier on in a bunch of the Nitro takes, looks old, looks like he should after a 20-plus year career in the ring, kind of beat up and such, but can still get out there and hang for about a quick 5 or 6 minute match, which is what this length for this match was 6 minutes. Drake did an awesome job, I thought, in carrying Scott Steiner, and the finish, of course, Drake nailing Steiner while he was on the outside of the ring with a chair, hiding it from the referee, and then going in for the 1-2-3. A heel's way to win a heel versus heel contest to open up the card. Not bad. Pretty good opener. I actually enjoyed it. All right, next one was Tessa Blanchard versus Madison Rayne. Tessa's Impact music is way better than the music that she uses on the indies, I feel. I think she should start using her Impact theme a little bit more. And there have been some cases on the independents in recent years, Jessica Havoc being one, and a few other wrestlers that have wrestled in Impact TNA, got the music, got brand new music done for them, and then when they branched out on their own again on the indies, started using the Impact/TNA music. So their music department at TNA, or their production department at Impact, still want to call it TNA, force of habit, is still reasonably okay. They have done some duds in the past, but the music they got for Tessa and her entire entrance right now, it suits her. Yeah, so she's, the third generation spoiled brat, which is the character that she's portraying. So, good on her. It's awesome to see her finally get this national exposure, because for years we've been watching her in Shimmer, and she's been awesome. Actually, this is a match I think that was supposed to happen during the Shimmer tapings last year, but never got around to doing it, because I think Madison Rayne had another commitment and had to pull out at last week or week before Shimmer. Either this last set of tapings they did, or way back into last year. I remember seeing it, and so it was good to finally see this match get into the ring and see what both ladies brought to the table. Josh Matthews and Don Callis were the commentary team throughout the card, and Josh mentioned All In, which was the first time I've heard All In being mentioned on a national wrestling entity, I guess. So, and I assume they've been talking about it on Ring of Honor as well. So it's picking up some traction. So it's looking like All In might be like a super clash or an all-star card for independent wrestling coming up in September. And could this be potentially a teaser with both these women involved in the same match, or maybe a multi-woman match involving both these women later on down the line? Who knows? Tessa looked like $1 million. Actually, both girls looked like $1 million during this match. They both did. It was a fine showing for both of them. And then in an upset finish, Madison Rayne got Tessa Blanchard in a schoolgirl for the win. 6 minutes in total. Really good short TV match. You know, and it leads to something bigger. Could there be a bigger match between the two of them at Slammiversary, or will it be at All In? We'll wait and see going on down the line. Next match was Brian Cage versus Desmond Xavier. It was a fairly competitive little guy versus big guy match. It was one of those stereotypical little guy versus big guy contests. First time ever seeing Desmond Xavier in a singles one-on-one encounter. I was very impressed with his ability, and just his moves are just crisp, you know. Just Impact's got a good talent with that kid. Sky's the limit with him. Brian Cage is just a monster. Love watching that guy wrestle, whether it was Lucha Underground, PWG, or even here. Man is a beast and a all-around good dude if you ever get a chance to meet him as well. Super nice individual. So, but he's portraying this awesome monster right now in Impact Wrestling, and let it ride, man, let it ride. Cage nails the drill claw after kicking out of Xavier's top rope splash for the finish. 5 minutes again in length. Actually, 5 minutes and 30 seconds in length. Again, they were really... I know that this is probably a condition of it being pre-taped and cut for time and that stuff, but the undercard matches were very tight and very snappy, I found. So again, probably another condition of the event being pre-taped and not live. But there you go. I thought that the production for this entire 2-hour broadcast was just top notch. Again, both men looked incredibly impressive in that match. Brian Cage now goes on to face Matt Sydal later on down the line, probably at Slammiversary, maybe a little bit earlier if they book it a little earlier. But I think he beats Sydal eventually, if not the first time around. He'll hold on to that X Division title for as long as he wants. I think the dude is just a machine. I think he's got the same chance of kind of re-revolutionizing that title that Samoa Joe did about 10 years ago or so. Kind of make it a big man's title again and just dominate, you know. Last Rights match for the Knockout Championship had Soojung versus Ali. And man, I love the psychology in the entrances coming out. Soojung with the Undead Bride Army hauling the casket out. And of course, the Last Rights match is essentially a casket match. Put your opponent in the casket, close the door for the win. And man, just the whole Undead Bride Army thing. And then Ali walking out, using her music to start, and then revealing back the all-black entrance gear that she had and that stuff, and then realizing that, oh crap, half her face is painted. And she's using Rosemary's music and some of Rosemary's mannerisms and that stuff and walking in the ring. So Team Demon Bunny is in full effect here. I kind of was expecting, though, in this match a little bit more as it went on. It felt like there was an element missing throughout this entire contest. And maybe that was Rosemary, but if that leads to a Rosemary versus Soojung, some sort of stipulation match, maybe a steel cage or something at like a Slammiversary, I'm totally cool with this match being what it was. And so the finish of the match was Soojung winning the Knockouts title using her mandible claw maneuver by putting Ali into the casket and then slamming the door on the casket. And afterwards, jumping up on top of the casket and doing some sort of writhing, dancing thing while the Undead Bride Army surrounded the casket and hauled her off. It's a good launch for her. I think that maybe the Rosemary character coming into this year might have been a little bit on the stagnant side after the split of DK and the Hardys going to WWE, etc. Various factors throughout the year of 2017. And bringing in an adversary like Soojung kind of freshens up the character a little bit. So now you're anticipating the return of Rosemary later on down the line to take on Soojung, and you're hoping that Soojung gets her just desserts off of this, or just deserves, whatever the terminology. I'm looking forward to the match, whatever it'll be. Look at that Slammiversary, I would think. Rosemary versus Soojung, fingers crossed, in some sort of something. I'm not sure if they'll go with the wacky Impact Wrestling TNA style production stuff. Not sure if they can now with Borash out of the picture there, with like a 20-minute like mini movie or something like that, or if it's just going to be like a classic steel cage, maybe Last Woman Standing, Last Knockout Standing, something like that for the Knockouts title. But and Allie, I think she's proven herself. That character has evolved quite a bit throughout the year as well too. So it's a good time for that division to have your top 5 knockouts in. Well, let's look at it now with Soojung, the champion, and then they were talking about Madison Rayne possibly being the next person in line for a title shot. I would imagine that would happen on a TV show prior to Slammiversary. Then you got Rosemary, Allie, and then Tessa Blanchard. Any variation of the 5. That's not a bad top 5. That's a lot better than it was maybe even a year and a half, 2 years ago. If you can get rid of a Rebel or like a Shelly Martinez, I guess, and bring in a Tessa Blanchard, that's a vast improvement for sure. Nothing against those women, but let's say it that they, yeah, you know what I mean. And in the main event match, we had Austin Aries versus Pentagon Jr. for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. This match was pretty good. This was a full 20 minutes with commercial breaks in there too. I thought that it flowed very well. It had a really nice junior heavyweight pace to it throughout. The match started before the bell with Aries taking a dive out to the outside, crashed and burned on that, so Pentagon immediately jumped on the advantage. And then while Pentagon was giving chops on the outside, he missed a chop, and then you heard the whole ding as his hand just wrapped against the ring post. The problem is that, again, the old school psychology, they didn't go back to that hand at all for the rest of the contest. They just went back into, match mode right after. So that kind of took away with it. I mean, if he's got a hurt hand, you gotta, the rest of the match has to revolve around that, I would think. So that's just the one negative takeaway there, is that they never went back to the hand during the rest of the contest. But, and just the counter for counter, hold for hold nature of it was great. Tons of false finishes, and like at least 3 where there was a Pentagon Jr. went for his Pentagon driver, and then only for 2 with Aries with his foot on the apron. Then there was a double count out on the outside, and then the match restarts. That, I believe, was the second or third last chance attempt on the outside that Aries had Pentagon Jr. in. And then Aries wanted the match to restart because he wanted a definite winner. And then a double count out happened 2 or 3 minutes after the fact when Pentagon Jr. hit Austin Aries with the Fear Factor driver on the outside. And man, another double count out, and then Pentagon Jr. asks for the bell to ring again, and then this was the only real lackluster part of it. Austin Aries, as soon as the bell rings, hits Pentagon Jr. with a low blow and gets the pinfall. Potentially poking fun at the AJ Styles Nakamura SmackDown Live feud right now with all the nut shots. I think we've seen enough nut shots for the year out of that feud for the entire pro wrestling world, but they felt like they needed to exercise that here. Austin kind of reestablished himself as the chicken shit heel off of this, which is good. The cocky chicken shit heel. I guess more cocky heel than chicken shit, because he didn't necessarily run, but anyway. And, Pentagon Jr., it was a good rub for Impact Wrestling to bring in the Lucha Underground stars for the belt. I think now with Austin Aries with the belt, you might see Pentagon Jr. with a rematch somewhere down the line, but I think we'll see Pentagon Jr. go back to do the Lucha Underground stuff and his other various bookings, the AAA stuff, everything, you know, before we see him back challenging it again on a regular basis. I think Austin Aries is the man going forward to hold on to the belt, definitely through Slammiversary. So who's going to be the new challenger? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see what's going on. So all in all, a solid program. I didn't touch on any of the storyline stuff that happened in between too, with the LAX, Trevor Lee, Caleb Connolly matchup getting announced for next week as well. I guess next week they're going to have another confrontation between Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards, and this one's going to be out in the woods somewhere, so I guess it's going to be one of those lights out segments, as Jim Cornette would put it, going forward. So those are two hooks to watch the show next week. I'll give this one a 7.5 out of 10 for it being a quote-unquote network special, or it was booked as such. Going forward, that Fight Network was really pushing on Twitter and Facebook and all the social media to watch this week. I really liked it. I think that if they do this once a month, which they have been doing, but they're starting to kind of amp up the amplitude of these matches and that stuff, I think they might have something going. So kudos, great show, 7.5 out of 10, awesome. And for you Impact Wrestling fans, I know you guys love to comment on these videos. Thank you very much. You guys have been kind of the interesting discovery over the past year of doing this channel on how vocal and how passionate you are about this product. So, and it's great to see. Anyways, I'm Kellen Nitro, Later Days. Happy wrestling watching, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.